Hello soul friends, this is Miriam and welcome back to my channel. Today's pick a pile or pick a card reading is all about the next 3 months ahead. This is also a seasons are changing reading, and so if you're watching this during the time I'm filming it, which is right at the end of August at the beginning of September, then you will be could be looking at, summer ending and going into fall. That could be going back to school, etc. and so forth. Good times, good times, good times. Remember, no matter your individual beliefs, tarot or oracle reading is your spirit guides coming forward to give you advice, or it is simply your subconscious mind helping you answer life's ponders. And no matter how you look at it, it's healthy and you are in the right place. So for today, we will be using 2 different oracle decks. One is for, the end of summer. One is for the beginning of fall. We're sort of in the middle, depending on how you look at it. And then I think for our tarot, sorry, I keep moving the table because I've got my feet resting on it. I think we will be using this deck for your clarification in tarot. And that's all we'll be using today. After today, I will probably fold this one away. I will also be folding this one away. And so check out reviews, because usually when I fold them away, I try to do a review. If not, it's because I was lazy. All right, sorry if you can hear my dishwasher. For your groups to pick, we have the Leo card and this little stainless steel pendulum. The number is 29. We also have the Roosters and Hens card and this agate stone bracelet, number 35, if I didn't say that already. Pumpkin spice and apple cider, number 30, with the coffin nail pendulum. And the wool card, number 44, with the divination coin on the yes position. Sorry if that was loud. Okay, I'll go ahead and we'll read them in depth in the readings, but just so you can see the images and get a feel for them that way if you wish. All right, we'll see you in your individual readings, y'all. Bye. Hello, pile 1. So if you picked this pendulum, this is the one that I use all the time. You know why I use it all the time? It's because I keep it handy. It swings really well, but I can drop it and 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 drop it, and I never ever break it like I do all my other pendulums. So if you're ever like watching some video 1,000 years ago and you're like, whatever happened to that cute little crystal pendulum? It broke, just so you know. Okay, let's look and see what your overall energy is going into the next 3 months. You have the Leo card, to deny your heart's joys, to deny nourishment to your spirit. Aw. Okay, so one thing popped out right away when I was looking at this card, and one of those things was that some of you, general reading, some of you might be a little bit heartstring tuggied about having to like go back to school, having to go back to work if you work in a school. I feel such a kinship to those people, even though I no longer work in schools. It's so great, you guys. I mean, there's so much I miss about it, but my gosh, you know what I mean? It just feels good when you know you've made the right decision, Anyway, maybe somebody needed to hear that. But, there's other places to go besides schools. I'm not telling you to drop out of school if you're like just about to graduate college and or you're about to get your law degree and you're like burned out and you're just like, I can't take it anymore. And you've got like that last semester, what I call the last semester jitters, or last semester, I don't give an F, whatever you want to call that, right? No more F's to give. right? So anywho, I feel like some of you are very sad that summer is over, that like summer is where your heart is, that you love the nights, you love the days, you love the heat, you love the plants that you see during that time. I feel like a lot of you feel like that. And some of you are like kind of irritated by the whole people who like fall hate you, and maybe sometimes people like you hate people who like fall. I hate that from both sides. Like, I love all the seasons. Let's just embrace all of them. Okay, I kind of hate summer just a little bit, but it's not anything to do with summer itself. It's more has to do with my allergies and fire smoke. That's all. Which is inescapable where I live. So that's, one thing. So, but I digress. I just heard the word spider, so spider might be significant to some. To me, that's creativity, spinning a web. It's also protection, protecting yourself, and patience. And it's also about going after what you want at the right time and being graceful about it. Wow. Group 1. Y'all are kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not getting fresh on you. But I'm picking up on your magnetic energies in group 1. You guys are if I was in a room and y'all were there, I'd be like, who is that? That looks like a cool cat right there. Isn't that great? Okay, so anyway, let's find out what you are going to leave behind, or what you're currently leaving behind. This is the previous holiday deck to this one. So we're going to do this one first and then do this one. This is for like around the area of September 22nd, and this one is around the area of like August something or other. I suck at my own people's calendar. Actually, I really don't know if they're my people. Okay, let's see what we're like. I'm one of those like European mixies. I have no idea who my people were. Okay, we have poetry. Number 32. Invoke your words for good and use them to... it would help if I actually could stand up. Invoke your words for good and use them to uplift yourself and others. Some of you might write poetry. Ew, I feel like mad Emily Dickinson vibes, you guys. And I feel like for some of you, like one of the nice things about maybe summer ending is this leaving behind like maybe socializing as much. And that feels bad to you, but at the same time, it's saying to like use your own words and your own time as a way to uplift yourself and others as you move forward out of this like favorite time of yours. What else is happening? This feels heavier than just like I'm sad summer's ending. Hang on. Are some of you scared to go back where you're going? I know that not all of us go to school, but like maybe there's something you do in like the summer months, or maybe just even in August, where maybe you are, shifting. Maybe some of you are just shifting into a new situation altogether. Or something ended recently in August and you're trying to move forward now and you don't want to let go. Maybe somebody's kids are going to school for the first time. Is that happening to you? Yes, I feel that for at least maybe one. Sorry. I want you to focus on the fact that there's a bunny rabbit here, a lion here, another lion here. I think that's like a blackbird. I don't think that's a crow, but I could be wrong because these are kind of like not the most realistically drawn cards, which is what I love about them. That looks like a little like duck to me. Let's see what else you're leaving behind. Okay, bakery. I'm gonna stand up again. Number 1, take the time to diligently practice and refine your craft. Success will follow as you savor each little victory along the way. I feel like some major beginner energy for some of you. Maybe some of you are going back to school after a long time, or like having a little bit of an empty nest situation, or I just heard the word divorce. Maybe there was a breakup of some kind. It doesn't have to be a marriage, but, or maybe there was like a passing away or somebody moving away. I feel like somebody moved away for some of you, and like for some of you it was your child. Maybe your child got married or went to school or got a job in a different, city, or whatever people do who have lives. Whatever that's all about. Apply it to how it fits in your situation. Like, I'm seeing like more you time for sure, but then these are also the leaving things behind cards. And so I feel like some of you, and this is going to make the reading even more complicated for me to remember how to get back to all of you. Sorry, I'm just going to say sorry in advance. Some of you might be leaving the solitude behind, and you liked the solitude. But I feel like that's not very many of you. For some of you, I think you're going into solitude, but you're going to like it. Okay, Spirit, help me with what they're leaving behind. I feel like some of you practice to get to where you're going, and your guides are telling you that you're ready. It's time to let go of that feeling like you're not ready. What else? I feel like for some of you, you might be leaving behind like keeping your mouth shut about something. Ooh. Yes, I knew I liked you. Okay. Good for you, for whatever your individual situation is. If that's what makes you feel good, then just do it, and maybe it doesn't make other people feel good. Well, they can deal with that how they want, A lot of times we don't, because we're worried we'll lose that person. And we might. Like, I'm not going to sit here and shiny rainbow it, Sometimes you do lose people and they walk away from you. There's a reason if they do, And I think that that's something also that you're leaving behind, is like maybe holding on to something. Maybe not a person, but an idea you were hoping for, or maybe you were hoping something was going to happen last month that didn't go quite the way you planned. And it like ended up hurting your tummy and your heart a lot more than you thought. Like, can relate. Let's go ahead and see what's coming towards you now. And then we'll get some tarot to look at like individual situations. If I can even, keep it together. Peppers, 28. Be fierce about the ways in which you protect yourself. Allies await. Interesting. All right, I'm definitely getting breakup vibes now. I feel like some of you, alrighty, some of you are leaving behind like a dream, perhaps. Not all. This is a complicated pile. I feel like a lot of you are just complicated people, like in-depth people. And that this time for you was like very transformative. Spicy. Remember I was saying I liked you? I like spicy people. I do. I don't like angry people, but I like spicy people. If you can be spicy with love, like, you're not gonna be able to pry me off of you. Like, that's my favorite kind of person. But I love spicy. Yeah, and this is definitely like a raven, or a crow of some kind, definitely a raven. So it's just showing like a great transformation and change. And what I like about this is that you kind of feel like you're on your own right now, but you're ready to be on your own and fight for that. And this is what I love about moments like this. They are horrible. I'm like, this is what I love about moments like this. They are so horrible. No, I'm going to counter that with something else. They are horrible, but they are also you know, something everyone has to go through. They're awful, they're rough, but you can learn so much if you just look at it like that and not, you know, what am I trying to say? Like, not curl up with it, the loss of it. Yes, thank you. The loss of it, and just curling up and feeling like, oh, it's over, there's nothing I can do now. It's like, you're still breathing, you still got your hiney on. That was not my words. That was one of you guys' guides, but I liked it. Somebody has a spicy guide in here as well. I probably just knocked the table. I apologize. Let's put this right over here. You know, I started shuffling, but I like this one on the bottom. And I'm gonna take it. Oh, hello, hello. Autumn Equinox, number 3. Nothing is whole without the acceptance and acknowledgement of all. What were we just talking about? Night and day, positive and negative, you know, light and dark, cliche. But it's relevant, more change, right? But you're like holding hands with both, like back then and now. And that's what you're moving towards. You can still hold on to whatever you feel about what happened before. But you also are acknowledging that it's time to move forward into beauty. And if you haven't acknowledged that yet, then that's your message. Okay, what else? People that are excited things are ending. Kind of the same. My relationships, they end. You know, stuff like that happens. People's lives end. Change is totally inevitable, and I feel you. I hate it too. It hurts so bad. But I see that you are ready to take this as a step forward into something new. I feel like a lot of you too, that it's sort of bittersweet, like with like the kids moving on without you, that it's okay, that there's still good times that are coming. They're just going to be in different shades and forms. I have no idea what that was if you heard it, but I have to go check it out. It was very loud. It was my cat jumping in a box full of paper. When you live out in the middle of nowhere, you get lots of boxes full of papers, and kitties like to jump in the boxes. So, all right, what else do we want to talk about the next 3 months? Ooh, you know what I want to do before we get into tarot and just make this a lengthy reading that's going to take me 1,000 years to finish? Let's look at each month. Okay, we have root vegetables for the first month, so the month that you are in currently, or that you are just starting. In those hidden places where most fear it to go, sorry, it won't focus, it's the ceiling fan, is where the most nourishment is waiting for you to behold. More change. Man, I got some Bless Me Ultima vibes. If you've never read Bless Me Ultima, it is about a little Mexican-American family in the 1930s during World War II who end up taking in their little curandura, which I say wrong because I can't pronounce Spanish worth a darn. I'm more of a German taught person for a second language. So anywho, she comes in, she's like this medicine woman. Her spirit animal is an owl. I feel like for a lot of you, you have a spirit animal watching over you right now. Raven, moth, owl. I know that we're talking about leaving things behind, but you never leave behind your strength, your lion, okay? And the rabbit and the duck. I don't know much about ducks. Is that a duck or a swan? If it's a swan, those are about like grace and stuff, but I don't know much about ducks or water birds. Owls are all about wisdom, but they're also about like death and rebirth, all right? And being accepting of death and rebirth. Yes. So for the first month, I feel like because for those of you that have like lost something or leaving something behind, or someone left you behind, which seems to be the theme that we're like doing, even if you're like excited to leave solitude behind and move forward into something more social, there's still a bittersweet tug on all of you, it feels like, and a bit of isolation for a lot of you. So anywho, it's like you are at a place that would have terrified you before. You guys, I see. Do you ever get to a place like with a breakup or whatever, you know, an ending of some kind, where at the end of it you feel kind of like relieved, sort of like at peace with it, because like you knew it was going to end anyway. And so it's like a bittersweet moment of like, you had no intention of ever laying down and giving up. And so when something ends or falls apart or dies or whatever, changes so much that it's never going to be the same again, you are ready to move forward. I feel you like digging in deep within yourself, within that well of strength within yourself, and rising up like the owl into the night. Ooh, for month one. This is a heavy reading, you guys. But I feel you know what I mean? Like, I get it. Sometimes we just have those months. But I see you like doing well, and like, please don't take this as like omens of bad things coming. If you're like, I feel like everything's going fine, I'm excited about stuff, then maybe this isn't your reading. I feel like this is something that, like, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, okay? As far as if you're excited to go forward, I feel like the fear element is what I'm wanting to mention there with this card, is like pushing yourself out of that comfort zone, pushing yourself into this whole new person. Like if you're going to college, what kind of person are you going to be there, right? If you're moving to a new town or to a new job, what person are you going to be there? If you're just meeting a new set of people, you can be a new person to them too. You see what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and shuffle again. For month 2, energy overall. Haunted house 22. The things that haunt you are the things you have yet to let go of. Wow. Man, you're just not getting... We are not getting a break from the seriousness of this reading. I'm like trying to make jokes and it's just not happening. I try to bring humor in whenever I can. Ooh. But like, I don't feel like this is negative, y'all. Like some of you probably feel like it has been pretty negative, like what's gotten you here in some cases, or some pretty negative experiences. Like I'm feeling that in my, like right in my like chest, like where, right where your chest meets your sternum, you know, like where your breastplate meets your sternum. Anyway, it's tight right there. So if there's something that, okay, yeah, all right, let's just say it. Okay, let's use a relationship scenario just to like make it extra gross. I'm not saying this is anybody here's scenario. I'm just using this as like a, I can't think of a movie because I don't watch romances because they're gross. But anyway, if I could think of an example of like, sorry, making people sick. It's just gross all around. There's the jokes. Here we are. And we're back. Okay. All right, let's keep going. The stuff that haunts you are things that you haven't let go of yet. So like, let's talk about that. The painful parts of endings. A lot of times, like, okay, say you have like a falling out with a friend or a lover and it ends in anger, and there's like that moment of neither one of you are seeing the other one's point of view. And you can't, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like you can't figure out a way, even if you want to get them to see. Or maybe you're so mad you don't care if they see or not because they don't see, right? That can be something that haunts me when I've had like a disagreement or a breakup or an ending of sorts where, you know, people were involved and they just didn't understand. There's a sense of closure that you don't get because if you didn't understand them, you'll never understood why they did what they did to you. If they're doing the same, then you'll never truly understand what it is you did to them. Like all of that wonderful stuff that could like haunt you, right? Because you'll go back into your mind and you'll sit there and go, oh, and then when they said this, I can't believe they, you know. And so you can get haunted by those things. You can get haunted like if somebody got hurt around you. You can go over and over the events that led up to the accident of, I should have been watching the kid more carefully, you know, like, oh my goodness, like, and if I wouldn't have sat down right when I did, right when she was standing up, she wouldn't have fallen backwards, and I would have been close enough to grab her, she wouldn't have smacked her head, right? All of those things. I had a lot of babies around me when I was a teenager, not so much anymore, but when I was a teenager, there were babies around all the time. And, you know, their heads would get whacked and stuff like that. So what I'm seeing for month 2 overall energy for you is that you're going to be kind of going over. Time has calmed down. You're out of survival mode by month 2. Like, poor guys. I feel you. Not all of you are in survival mode, but I feel like some of you are. Like, you're going to start going over things in your mind about how maybe you could have done things differently. Look at the double numbers here, 33 and 22. Very interesting. Might need to look that up, Google those numbers and see what they mean. I'm not even standing up to see if the camera's even at the right angle anymore because I keep knocking my table. It's just how I roll. I also see a fox up here. Mushrooms, an apple that's just the core and a whole apple on strings for some reason. Candles are a thing. Candles are a symbol of like a light coming on in the darkness. One of them has gone out down here and one of them is on. Remember how I was talking about that disconnect between someone where you don't feel understood? I feel like you're going to be going over and over again like the things that how they went wrong in this month. And this is just advice. If there's something like that pulling at you during this month, it's something you need to look at and be like, why don't I want to let go of this? Right? Why don't I want to let go of this? I'm going to try to get some tarot to clarify that. Let's look at the 3rd month. Okay. Yep, this goes along perfectly. Scarecrow 34. Remember that you are not alone. Move with confidence as you are guided. By the 3rd month, you're going to be figuring it out. You're going to be rolling into Christmas time if you're actually watching this during the time I'm filming it. Holy cow, isn't that crazy? Holy moo-moo. But yeah, remember how we were talking about before, be fierce? Because you were feeling kind of alone and protective of yourself, but allies await. That I feel like some of you are going to meet some really cool people, or that some of you have already met some really cool people that you're going to kind of drift towards as you move into this new beginning, to sort of fill that lack of personal bond that you might have lost before, if this was like breakups or, you know, loss of a person in some way. And that you are going to feel, and then there's like 3 of them there. See how that works? Like you're going to have some bonding time with some people that you wouldn't have if things hadn't have changed. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. I know words. Alrighty. Let's get you some tarot, guys. Okay. And you. Alrighty. We have 2 of Swords. Yep, I feel that same feeling of like stalemate between two people of like you're not going to hurt each other, but you're just like not also going to acknowledge each other in some cases. This could also be like this like pure separation from what you were. Use your words, Miriam. Like a separation from what you were doing before or in that energy before and moving forward. Okay. I feel like for so many of you, there's no way to go back to how it was before. So it does feel very final, but you are ready to take that step forward. In this particular instance, you're just not looking back, is what I feel like with this card. And that's a good thing. You don't want to look back. If something starts to haunt you, that's something you need to like take your energy back from. Okay. And if you want to know how to take your energy back from someone, give me a call and schedule a little reading with me. I will teach you. It works like a charm. Okay, we have Ace of Pentacles. Brand new beginnings and looking forward to them, being like ready. It's going to be bountiful and abundant. It's okay that this thing has ended. Like, and I honestly feel like it's okay for everyone involved, right? And even if it wasn't okay for everyone involved, that it was like a natural thing that happened, you know, like the kid had to go to college, you know, that kind of stuff. And so I feel, or, you know, we both realized we aren't the people we thought we were, you know, or whatever, you know, to each other or whatnot. I feel like this is this new beautiful like step that you're taking forward into the next 3 months. And that's what's going to eclipse that energy of like feeling haunted, right? Of like feeling like you don't, oh, like, I don't know, feel at peace with all the things that happened that got you here. There we go. Yeah, 3 of Pentacles. That's also like, I like how he's like kind of on his own, but he's like working, you know, on something bigger than himself. I feel like college vibes with this card so hard. Card so hard. That rhymed. Of someone just, you know, sort of feeling a little bit isolated at first, but they're actually working on exactly like where they're supposed to be, and they're surrounded by people that are just like them in a lot of ways, but they just haven't branched out yet. A lot of times with like going to college or going to a new place, it is hard to kind of get out there and find your element or your people, your tribe. What else? I feel like some of you might have a cat that you like a lot. Ooh, new inspirations coming up as well. Yeah, if you keep practicing what we've been preaching. Let's see, there's the cat again. Focus. There we go. Kitty cats. I feel like for a lot of you, this is customer calling. Okay, that was a very long call. I would say it was about the better part of an hour. So let me try to get my bearings back and talk about more about what's coming towards you in the next 3 months. There's so much new coming in. Let's see how much new, what kind of new. You might like that. Okay, planting seeds to make it forward. Oh, no, wait. Oh, I read that wrong. 5 of Pentacles. I thought it was 7 of Pentacles. So this is all about feeling left out in the cold and alone. Again. Is that like a fear that you guys have a little bit? The aloneness? I feel like some of you do. You're not going to be alone forever. Remember, we talked about this before. And for you guys, it was shorter ago because you didn't just go talk to somebody for an hour. Or did you? Dun, 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 dun. Anyway. Yeah, this is temporary. Like, see how they're showing these people around each other? And it's like the World card, but it's like about an ending, right? But that's also about new beginnings. And yeah, you got a little bit of alone time or a bit of loneliness because of a situation changing, as we talked about before. But it's not going to stay that way. You're not just going to be like that forever. You're not going to end up that way. Oh, are you worried about down the road, some of you? Okay, I feel that. You don't have to worry though, because see these people that are coming towards you? I was just shuffling and this card came out. Yeah, Two of Wands. It's just like a new beginning, that's all. You're gonna be okay. Look, there's that cat again. Yeah. Also, this cat is a lucky cat with the 3 colors. I don't know if you knew that was a thing. If it's a 3-colored cat, it's luckier than other cats, apparently. Which is actually kind of hilarious, because most cats, I think, probably, if you looked at them closely enough under a microscope, would probably consist of many colors. Even when they're just one. Okay, what else? Yeah, you're strong. You're going to get through this. That little tuck of fear right there was just like this strange hiccup that we got there at the end. You know that there's no going back anyway, right? And I feel like some of you are just like afraid of feeling the pain, like letting the pain come, the grief part, the mourning, what's not there anymore. And that's okay too. I'm like that. It's like the ripping off the Band-Aid part, you know, but it's just a necessary part of life. And loss. And I don't feel like all of you have really truly lost something. Like, for example, if your kid was going to college or if you're just changing locations or whatever, a lot of that alone time that you're going to be feeling is just temporary. For others that did lose something, you're going to be replacing it with new things. And you actually probably have already seen some of those start to materialize at this stage that you are reading this. At least for some of you it is. For those of you who are like, no, it's not there yet. It's okay. It's coming. Okay. All right. I think that's all I have for you, but let's just give it one more little shuffle-roo to make sure. Spirit, what else do you have to say to group 1? Temperance. Beautiful. That's about healing, finding balance. What a beautiful card. You know, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, the beauty part after a rainstorm, right? Everything flourishes and comes back to life. And so shall you, if you feel like something has ended. The healing has begun. All right. I hope the next 3 months are nice and easy on you. You've already been through a lot, my group 1s. If this was helpful for you, go ahead and give me comments in the comment section. If you would like topic ideas to get to me, go ahead and put those there as well. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are a couple of different ways to do so in the description box. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye. Hello, group 2. So if you picked this bracelet of agate stone, I believe. Let's go ahead and get into your overall energy for the next 3 months ahead. Rooster and hens. 35. A change of scenery is calling. Embrace the adventure that awaits. Oh my. And y'all look ready. So putting all your little eggs into one basket and just going forward with it. So I feel like for some of you, there's a move coming up for you. Definite. I mean, a change of scenery means a change of scenery. So this might be a very specific reading. Right now I'm just picking up. Okay, thank you. I also saw like some people like hanging out in a bar and then like not hanging out in bars anymore. So whether or not that's somebody's actual like experience or not, or if that's just my empath stuff pulling a little bit, sort of that change of scenery as well seems to be what's coming forward for you in the next 3 months. Okay, what else? New dawn, new day just popped into my head because of all this rooster action we see going on here. You might want to look up roosters like in the Chinese calendar and see what it says about them. I don't know much about their lore. What else? I feel like for some of you with the eggs all in one basket that maybe some of you have done a very, very strong, what do you call it? Investment of some kind. That you've like invested all your money into something, or that you're like moving into a brand new house and like, while you're able to afford it, you know, it's going to be tight for a while because you just like did a bunch of stuff and now you're moving into like a new dorm, a new house, a new apartment, a new whatever. Could be a new lifestyle, could be a new career, new scenery. For sure. Let's see what you're leaving behind with our cards from last season. I'm going to have some reviews over these soon, I believe. Cornucopia number 12. Let the power of abundance flow through you and open up fresh opportunities for growth. Okay, so whatever you're coming out of, it looks like it was positive, or at least you're leaving behind a positive legacy of some kind. The little skull in the picture and the candle in the glass of wine, and the moth represents readiness for change, acceptance of change, acceptance of who you are with the mirror, and not being afraid to look at who you are with the mirror. A little blackbird for abundance as well. Candles for hope and lights coming on in the darkness. Yes. So what you're leaving behind, I feel like, is a period of, you know, letting go. You've let go of the bittersweet stuff and you're moving forward into this new light quite easily. So you're leaving behind sort of that idea of maybe you've done a lot of celebrating with people. Maybe you've done a lot of just really hard work in the area that you're leaving behind. And you feel like you've tied it up nicely and you're ready to go forward. You might not have been able, the types of people that I'm feeling in this energy, you probably couldn't move forward unless you had it all tied up like that. You psychos. Are you all organized and stuff, group 2? Oh, you weirdos. I have no idea what that's like. I'm just kidding, though. I wish I was like you. And I'm definitely not. I am not organized. Let's see what else you're leaving behind. Poppy 33. Pause for a moment to reset and reconnect with your soul. I feel like for some of you, you're leaving a part of yourself behind. But it's like an illusion. Like part of it feels like it was an illusion. And that you realize that now and you're leaving that behind. Maybe there was a nostalgia that you felt before moving forward. And then that nostalgia image got shattered for you in some way. Like you realized it wasn't quite true, or that maybe it was true, but there's just no going back to it. That's an interesting little feeling there. I don't feel like we're dealing with breakup energy at this time, although I guess if you have a unique perspective on breakups more than most people, I don't know, maybe you could apply it how you would like to whatever kind of ending you're looking at. Interesting energy, group 2. You're very organized. I feel like you would all right, we're going to take this one out because that's probably just from grabbing the cards off the table from the previous reading. So that one's not for us. Whenever I see readers do that on TV, I'm like, what if it is for me though? I want to see it now. I'm curious. Just let me see it. Okay. Coming of darkness. All the light is dimming. Life is withering at the core. Are you ready? I feel like this is about fall coming in. If you're watching this during the fall month or the end of summer, like I'm filming it at. I also feel like some of you might be going into the night. I just heard night shift. Some of you might be starting a night shift position, or traveling at night to get to where you're going, or leaving something behind, but moving forward with your soul. Interesting, group 2. What else are you moving into? Okay, so the things that haunt you are things that you need to let go of. Yeah, I feel like for some of you, this maybe isn't a goodbye. Interesting. Of some sort. You're leaving something behind to get into new energy. So whatever is tugging at your heart the hardest, that's what you're going to have to look at, you know, and notice the candle's out over here, but it's on over here. It's like telling you to look forward at where the light is now, because it's not in the same place it used to be, right? Or you're not going to see things the same way you used to because of all this change coming up in the next 3 months. Crow, number 11. Pay close attention to the winds. There's a message making its way. Yeah, big, man, this, and group 1, very, 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 very serious, important life stuff energy. Look at the apples that have eyes. Some evil eye protection I see here. I also see some stepping into magic of some kind, or stepping into your authentic higher self in some way. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay, now I'm going to get 3 cards of these to see each month for you. Just overall energy for each month. Mountain Cabin 27. There are times when solitude can be healing and enlightening. I feel like some of you, even though we're right at the end of, you know, vacation time traditionally where I am, I feel like some of you might be taking a little excursion before you head out into this new energy that I'm seeing here. Okay. I feel like you're going to be taking some solitude time, going out on a hike, going out to a retreat of some sort with maybe just yourself entirely, or at least people that you can enjoy solitude with, right? Oh. I accidentally flipped this over, and this was speaking to me. Harvest Witch. What sacrifices have you made for the greater vision of what is to be? I feel like for the second month, you're going to be very choosy about how you give things of yourself. And you're a very giving people. I feel like you're going to, though, focus your energy and attention on things that you really care about in your core, and only putting your energy into those things for the second month, which also goes along with that solitude in the first month of kind of getting to know yourself. And I feel like even if y'all are not planning on taking a little trip to a cabin you have somewhere, maybe you're not lucky enough to have a little cabin somewhere. I'd like to have a little cabin somewhere. For you to just go maybe do a little bit of solitude on your own. Maybe just arrange some kind of a little day trip for yourself where you just go out by yourself. Maybe even if it's just a walk. Okay, or just spending the day alone doing absolutely nothing but things for yourself might be a good thing to make sure you do during this month. Just came through. For the second month, you're going to be very choosy about how you give of yourself. And your guides are saying this is a wonderful thing, that you'll harvest more of a bounty that you like if you actually plant the seeds that you want. So if you're moving to a whole different location, plant the seeds of the type of life you want to live there for your higher self. Not, you know, curiosity of what you might run into or what's going to happen. Strategically place yourself in situations where you know you're not going to find town drama, right? Didn't we have that image at the very beginning of like people hanging out in a bar and then deciding not to do that anymore? It's hard to do if you're used to a social location and then you can't go there anymore. It doesn't just have to be a bar. You'd be like a club you like to do. Like, for example, I like to go to concerts, like music concerts, but they've gotten so expensive and kind of ridiculous the way that they're run that I'm like, maybe I'm not going to go do those anymore for a long time. Or ever, you know, and that's okay. I'm not going to not replace it with something else. I'm sure there's some other joy I will find. I see you being choosy with that. I was the same way with charity. I used to do a lot of charity stuff, and now I don't anymore. I do charity in different ways, but I don't get involved in like big outdoor community activities anymore. I can't. So like that's part of why I don't do it. But like, even if I could, I definitely would be doing like a fraction of what I started with, right? And I see that for you in the second month of like being very choosy about how you spend your time and how you give of yourself and what people you give yourself to. And for the third month, Straw Bale 37, it's time you step out of your comfort zone, take up space, and reach new heights. But I wouldn't recommend putting candles on hay bales, okay? Don't do that, especially if you're by yourself. Yeah, I see it's like for you that time to sort of, like we were talking about before, what kind of person in that new community are you going to be? What kind of like picture do you want to paint of yourself after you let go of the things that you have to let go of? How are you going to picture yourself in the new, right? The new you. What messages are you going to take to heart? And how are you going to let them influence you? I see you doing a lot of that in the third month. In the third month, I see a lot of just owning yourself and doing what you want, which is like, yeah. Yeah, friend. Okay. Let's get you some tarot just to get some clarifiers about what's coming towards you in the next 3 months. I feel these ones right here, and I also feel these. All right. 5 of Swords. I feel like this is actually your guides telling you to change your ways and be a little bit selfish. I feel like a lot of the times, I don't feel like this person is ignoring this person, but I feel like for a second I did feel like somebody was going to be ignoring someone else in a way that it was good or healthy for them, like not acknowledging a negative person, I should say, rather than ignoring a person, right? That sounds nicer, right? Not acknowledging a negative person as opposed to like ignoring that poor guy. With 5 of Swords, that also gives me this idea of like taking care of yourself. Sometimes this can be a card of selfishness, but in your case, and with this like change vibe I'm getting from it, sorry, I'm going to take a drink. I apologize. This is giving me a take care of yourself vibe that's healthy. I feel like for some of you, you might get criticism for that. And if you're getting criticism for that, it's an illusion that somebody's creating for you, and take note of it, because I feel like you've already given quite a bit. If you're like, no, I've never given anybody in my life, and I'm actually really selfish, and that's why I'm in this reading, well then, different message for you. But if you tend to give a lot, and you can think of exact instances of you giving, then this is something that I would say you need to take care of yourself and forgive yourself for taking care of yourself. 9 of Swords. This is so interesting. The same thing happened in group 1, where as we were talking about the situation moving forward, their energy got kind of anxious, kind of like fretful of the future, that kind of deal. And I was like, what's going on with group 1? Yeah, everything is going to be okay. See? Justice, balance, things are going to be fine in the next few months. You're actually going to find... Oh, see how it came out on this card here? This is all about you being choosy about who you let into your world and like how you spend your time. And you're actually going to be doing it in healthy ways is the vibe I'm getting from this reading. So there's no need to be afraid or worried. 5 of Wands. There are going to be, if you're moving into a new situation, like a new town, new whole environment, right? There is going to be some conflict around you with other people. It doesn't actually have anything to do with you, even if they say that it does. You just stay calm, keep rocking that Zen energy that you've got going, and tell them, I'm not going to engage with you in this. It could just be removing your sights from those types of people, removing your ability to see them in action because they just angry up the blood. One of the places that I have to do that a lot of the time is on like social media sites. And the only reason why is because when people say things that are really abrasive, one way or the other, even if I'm not involved, it like starts to wear away at me after a while. And like, even though I'm not like the type that's going to get really mad every time I see a comment like that and need to comment on it, it's still by the end of like the time that I spend on there, it feels a little bit draining on my energy. And so I feel like, you know, taking breaks from it is important. It could be something as simple as that. Like just staying away from human drama is something that your guides are advising to avoid more anxiety and taking care of yourself, right? It's all part of that theme to keep things in balance. All right, let's look at what else we got. Yes, if you follow that advice, you will narrowly escape all the chaos of the things that come around us. And I'm not saying you're going into a chaotic place. It's not like that. You might be going into an unfamiliar place, however, in a lot of instances. And so your guides are showing that if you keep rocking this as a basic formula or pattern of behavior for yourself, that will be your outcome, that you'll always be able to navigate yourself out of bad situations and miss anything falling from the sky, miss anything that you might not have noticed had you not followed this formula, if that makes sense. Yeesh. What else should we know? Let's get some more. For the next 3 months. I feel these right here. But I feel they might be for the end. I feel these for the beginning. Thank you. And you as well. Okay. It's got a lot more tarot. But I feel like there's less situations in this deck, or in this pile, or this group. Words, Miriam. They are words. Okay. Yes. You're going to do well. You're going to do well. I see this as like plans working out well. Overall, you're going to come out like this as a champion and find what you've been looking for in life. All from this like next 3 months moment is really going to build this character within yourself. And I feel like it's following that formula we talked about. Yeah, you're going to get your wishes coming true. Celebrating your good fortune. Being blessed. All that good stuff. Being emotionally fulfilled. I feel like such self-sufficiency coming out. And look how that came out over the top of that anxiety card. Yoinksies. Let's tuck that under there. All that goodness. Ooh. Overcoming challenges with 7 of Wands. Finding that balance, having good balance. The Strength card. Excellent. My goodness. And Temperance at the end. You might want to watch Group 1 as well. There might be some messages in there for you. Group 2. But overall, the next 3 months are feeling so transformative and powerful. If you've been through a breakup, like a romantic breakup, or lost a person, Group 1 is definitely something you'll want to go check out. I really, really, really hope this was helpful. If it was, give me comments on how it was. If you'd like to give me topic ideas, do so in the comment section as well. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box. We will see you in the next one, my friends. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, pile 3. So if you picked the coffin nail pendulum, then this is your overall energy for the next 3 months. We have pumpkin spice and apple cider. Nothing is more nostalgic than the joy of belonging in your presence. So for this group, I feel like you are enjoying the idea of summer coming to an end, that you like the spooky season, which is very nice. I'm also seeing that because you picked the coffin nail, that a lot of times that could like indicate that you are one of those like Scorpio types. You don't have to be a Scorpio, but you know, a Scorpio type that is into the macabre, likes Halloween, likes spooky season, might like pumpkin spice and apple cider. I'm allergic to all that stuff, so I can't partake with you, but you know, I did like carrot cake back when I could have it. So that being said, I see that you're just enjoying this time, enjoying decorating your house, enjoying getting your spooky lineup of things you're going to do. It might be a time of year that you also enjoy. I feel like some parents in here, and you might like fall sports season, right? If you're like a college student, you might like fall sports season. If you're a human being, you might like sports in the fall. You might like hunting or going camping when it's like not hot anymore, but still like weather good enough to go camping. That kind of nostalgic feeling. I feel like, you know, that view out the window of like the cloudiness and the leaves blowing and the cup of hot whatever you have and the candles burning and your little desk with your little things on it. It all feels very, very nice to me. Watching nostalgic old movies, enjoying time with your family, enjoying time with friends during this season. Just all kinds of fun, love, and stuff for you, pile 3. Okay, what else do I want to say about this card? I also feel like you feel like this is your time of the year. So it's like your time of the year to really be yourself, to really dress how you like to dress. Perhaps like sweaters and boots and jeans and scarves are kind of your thing. And so this is the time of year where you feel most authentically yourself. You could be someone who is into magic or witchcraft or the occult or whatever you want to call it. And this is a holy time of year for those people. So you could be feeling your kinship there with this time of year. It's also a time of year in those cultures where people would actually, you know, prepare harvest and prepare for their New Year festival, which in Celtic society was during this time of year towards November. And they would enjoy very much like we've seen with like Day of the Dead festivals with Latin cultures and the Halloween cultures of the West. Okay, so that all being said, I feel like some of you are like already out buying decorations. I feel like some of you are already like posting snarky comments on Facebook about how summer's over, beach babes, get on out of here. Like that kind of enjoying things, booking shows to go do, haunted tours to go find, camping trips, ghost town visits. You know, those types of things feel like they're happening for you, especially in the earlier months of fall, depending on where you live, enjoying the nice weather before it turns super cold and enjoying watching the fall colors change and make things look really pretty. If you're like me and you live out in forest fire land, you can't wait for it to, you know, get colder and colder and colder, put out those fires, right? However, I feel that a lot of you are not the type that would want snow yet, which is what I'm hoping for because, you know, I'm not like a huge fan of snow. I like it. I just, you know, I don't want to cut fall short. I don't want to cut summer short either, even though summer's over. But it feels like the smoke in my area is not going to go away unless we actually get some snow. So here I am, like dee 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 dee. All right, sleigh bells ringing. What else do we want to see? I also feel like there might be a storm raging outside your borders and you're not getting involved in it. And I feel like that's metaphorical speak, that you're like maybe in an area where, you know, I feel small town vibes. I smell drama vibes at work. I feel drama at school. I feel those things. So possibly, and within family dynamics as well, that I feel like you're like staying well hidden away from all these conflicts that you see. I feel like some of you are going to carry that through the autumn, that you're just kind of sticking to yourself so that you can enjoy this time that you like, this nostalgic time. I feel that, pile 3. I feel that so hard. It's scary and it feels good. So keep it up. Keep that momentum going because that is actually going to be what brings you the most peace and enjoyment during the next 3 months. All right, let's go ahead and look and see what kind of goodies you are leaving behind. No, I'm just saying. What kind of stuff are you leaving behind as you embark? So what are you leaving behind from summer? Sunburst 37, embrace your inner light and share it with the world, inspiring others to do the same. I feel like for a lot of you that you're just done with the sun. You're so done with the hot weather. You're done with people being like excited about it. You're done with oh, it's so funny. I went and saw this concert the other day. And I'm trying to remember what the song was. It wasn't Good Day Sunshine by the Beatles. It was something else. Walking on Sunshine. I don't know who sings that song. I think traditionally it was a woman who sang it. I don't know who wrote it, and I don't know why. It's that Walking on Sunshine, that song. I saw a band do a cover of that song recently in a concert. They weren't the band that I was there to see. And so I wasn't super impressed. And then I also almost passed out because I was crammed in the pit too tight. And like a wonderfully frail Victorian woman, I fainted. And next thing you knew, there was like all these people trying to help. And it was, yeah, good times. Good times at concerts. Anywho, they started playing this like cover of Walking on Sunshine. And if you know the band, I'm not going to name drop them and make people think I'm making fun of the band. But if I was going to be at like a show where they play like harder, like, you know, goth kind of music, like, I don't know why that song created the stir in the crowd that it did. I don't know if it was because they had waited so long for this band to come out. I mean, we're talking like over an hour wait. While I was passing out all that stuff, they were still like coming out. So that whole long silly story is just to like bring on the fact that as I'm coming back to consciousness and realizing that, yeah, we don't have to call an ambulance. I just passed out. Everything's fine. And I'm like gathering my bearings and looking around, and all these people around that just watched me almost go down that were probably like, oh, she was so intoxicated, you know, and I wasn't, but you know how it goes. And then that song popped up and all these people were like moshing to it and crowd surfing to it and just having a good old, just don't worry about who you're clobbering with your elbows time. And I was just disgusted by their behavior in that moment. One, because I wasn't feeling so well myself. Two, because I went to see some goth stuff, okay? And when I go to watch some goth stuff, I don't want to hear about people walking on sunshine. I automatically get very Nancy from The Craft of like scooching towards you, but like I'm kind of levitated and just my pointy little toes are scratching the floor as I'm coming towards you in a deadlock eye of, why are you playing Walking on Sunshine at a goth show, okay? And those poor bands probably don't even identify as goths, but you know, maybe neither do I. But that's the vibe I'm feeling from you. They're like, wow, that was a weird long story, Miriam. I know. And yet it all had, look at all these, they look like little flowers, but they also are reminding me of tomatoes with the little stars in the middle of them. So you might have a thing with some tomatoes that's going on. Maybe good, maybe bad. Some sunflower action, right? But I feel like, see how this like raven is kind of in the background, two of them? Like they're coming towards the sun, like, your time is done, son. And I feel like so many of you in this group, so if you're like, I love this sun, I'm wearing my bikini right now, you might be in the wrong pile, because I feel like you're, and maybe you don't feel like this all the time, maybe you do, where you're just kind of sitting around like glaring at people in their little sun outfits and sunshine and like hissing at the sun patches and kind of skulking away from them into the shadows where you belong. Yes, I like people like you, pile 3, because you make my my feelings relatable. Let's see what else you're leaving behind. Yeah, citrine number 5. Confidence is a skill that can be cultivated, and you are now being guided to reach for the light within yourself. Very hard Empress vibes here, but I feel like what you're letting go of and moving away from is having to be around a lot of people. Maybe you have, maybe some of you have had to work with summer people. That's not something I usually have to deal with because I mean, I used to back when I worked at fairs and home shows. Like, if you worked fairs, you definitely saw the summer people, right? But I traveled to them, so it wasn't like I could tell who was from out of town and who wasn't, right? When you live in like a smaller community and it's the type of place where the summer people come, there's some appreciation for how much money and excitement they can bring to your little like community. But there's also this air of annoyance and being inconvenienced by them. And so I feel like for some of you, and I'm totally like this too, I'm not giving you a hard time. I just don't want to say this and make people not like me. No, I'm just kidding. I don't care if people like me. They won't anyway. What's the point in trying? So I feel almost like you're letting go of that, having to look at, maybe you worked at Disneyland or someplace really summer people like that, and you're just so done with the crowds. When I worked at fairs, one of the things that killed me the most was when you were trying to get to your booth and everyone else is just there to see the fair. And so they're taking their time wandering. They're not thinking about the fact that anybody else that's there in the crowd with them is anybody else besides people that are just there to see the shows like they are, right? Meanwhile, you're trying to beeline for the bathroom or beeline back to your booth before some crowd descends like locusts upon it and just strips it of everything that you ever wanted to sell, which doesn't usually happen, but you worry it will while you're running around. So anywho, I feel like there might be maybe some of you work in like a town where, it's pretty predictable all year long. And then you get the summer crowd in and you're like, here they come. Being all summer people-y and whatnot. Maybe you work in construction and summer people create a different kind of traffic. What else? Summer people is really coming through hard. But I mean, you know the deal. If you're dealing with summer people, I totally understand. So I feel like for a lot of you, that stone citrine is all about like sunshine and transmuting negativity into positivity, etc. and so forth. And so I feel like honestly with you leaving behind those people who are in a very positive frame of mind a lot of time when they're traveling, they're out having fun and you're sitting there working or whatever, that a lot of times that will boost the positivity around you, that those folk are heading back to wherever they came from and you can settle back into a routine. I also feel like for a lot of you, if you weren't like doing summer people stuff, it might have just been a more social time in the last month and you're looking forward to some solitude. Okay. And that's been kind of a weird theme with the other two piles as well. This like moving into something new. It is like school starting season. And a lot of times that can start really new chapters for a lot of people. Your kids can go off to school, whatever type of school they're going off to. Yeah, going to college is different than going to kindergarten, but it still feels like a very poignant time of like losing your baby. It could be you're going back to school. It could be that somebody you care about is going back to school and it's going to change the very fabric of your financial situation that etc. and so forth. So, all those things could be possible. But what I see with you is this like wanting to get to this place of isolation, wanting to get to this place of coziness and nostalgia. Ooh, I just got in that possibly somebody might be taking some kind of a weird little camping trip with family, maybe like to a hunting cabin that you all go to. And maybe you are the one who chills in the house when they go out into the Trekkie wilderness to do all the gross wet work and hard work of, it sounds awful to me, trekking through the woods. And then at the end of it, the best way that this can end is for me to actually kill something. And I'm not saying that I'm against hunting, because I'm not. People hunt for food and it's like a cultural thing. I just know myself personally, I can't handle the wet work, as I call it. I can't handle the act of taking life, even if it's for the good of my family. And so like I tend to be the one that might hide back if I even go on the trip at all, and then, try to forget about what I might be having to eat later. Because I can't be a vegetarian. I'm allergic to fruits and vegetables, all of them. So, and they're like, is that possible? Apparently it can be. So, You know, say a little prayer at night that you don't contract whatever I have. All right, let's go ahead and see what you are moving towards in the next 3 months. We're going to get some overall energy like we did with what you're leaving behind. And then we're going to get into 3 distinct cards for each month. And then we're going to do some tarot. I feel like this is card 2. And this is card 3. And this is card 1. Nope. And I want this one too. Okay. So we got 4 cards for your overall energy. And then I'll get 3 more for each month. What we're moving into, Harvest Witch. What sacrifices have you made for the greater vision of what is to be? Yes, I feel like that preparation of you moving into this fall time. Okay. I feel like even if you aren't a practitioner of Celtic or Norse traditions or old Wiccan traditions or old, you know, the fall is the holiest time of year for those types of religions and belief systems. I feel like you feel that tradition, whether you actually practice it or not. It's like maybe you don't like I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday, but I don't decorate, y'all. I don't care about it, you know, like, because it's just more stuff I have to dig out that might be dusty. And then I have to put it out and figure out where to put all the other stuff while I put out the new stuff. And then it's only up for a month, and then you got to take it down again. And then I end up leaving it up for 3 months because I don't want to deal with it. So I just stop. I just stop doing it. I put like some little candles and a pumpkin in the like window, and it's not even a real pumpkin, right? It's a plushy pumpkin. And if I'm going to wear a costume, it's like I wear a dress that looks themed towards whatever like ears I'm going to wear. Not the lingerie. I'm not in high school. But I was thinking about the movie Mean Girls where they just wear ears and then lingerie, like mouse ears. But like, it's a little more themed than that. So like it might be a dress with like cats all over it and I have cat ears on. I mean, that's how creative I get. But I feel that time in my spirit. I do think of it in a more ancient way of the veil being thinner and the spirits coming through, and how it marks the time that not everyone I know is going to make it through the winter, maybe. Maybe I won't make it through the winter. And this is all something that our ancestors, if you're in that culture, like that is all something that they had to deal with. And so that was why this was like kind of their holiest year, is like reaping the bounty of your harvest and hoping you make it through the winter. I feel like you feel that within you. And that's going to be through with you throughout this entire season. If you're watching this during the fall when I'm actually recording it, you probably feel this even more. Okay. Going right along. Mountain cabin. There are times when solitude can be healing and enlightening. Look at this. This solitude theme just keeps coming and coming for you. And like, honestly, there's been a lot of solitude themes in all of the readings today, which has been very interesting. I feel like, yeah, I feel like some of you actually have a mountain cabin that you go to. And if you don't, there's some kind of a retreat that you go to every year to sort of unwind. You might be like one of those people that lives on like the east side of the United States. And I was so mad when I found this out because I grew up on the western side. And I found out when I was in college that my favorite professor would take like a whole week off in the middle of October, but it was for hunting season. And that was something that everybody on the east side colleges just got to do. And on the western side, they didn't do it anymore. And I was like, rawr, not that I hunt or anything, but a week off extra in the fall would be great. Besides just that Thanksgiving thing. Some people don't even celebrate Thanksgiving. Come on. All right, let's look what else we got coming towards you. But yeah, that idea of solitude, of taking a break from society, I feel like those of you, even if you're not planning on going out and doing this type of thing, or you don't have a log cabin somewhere or a little mountain cabin somewhere, but I'm jealous of you if you do. I don't have one, but I also tend to tuck into myself this time of year. I tuck into myself and I decide who I am, what I want, what am I doing, where am I going, who do I want in my weird little world with me? Yes. And I feel like you doing that as well. I also see you reflecting back on what you're leaving behind and looking forward at what's coming in. Very lovely. 32, the Reaper. We have, for the birth of something new to manifest, the death of something holding you back is inevitable. I feel like you're ready for that. I feel like that's your whole vibe. Is like what is coming to an end in my life and what is coming towards me. I'm sorry if you can hear me standing up and sitting down. I have such a weird setup for filming. It's so silly. I'm sure everyone does. But this unflinching like idea, see how like the death person is not even hooded or obscured in any way. We're looking right at its weird little scary face, and the book's open. They're smiling. You feel like you're smiling back at it. It almost feels like you're looking forward unflinchingly at the change that's coming towards you in the next 3 months. Nay, do I say you are looking forward to that big change coming and looking forward to something sort of not dying, but, passing away. Like the summer months going away, being happy about that. There's a part of me that feels great glee when I look outside and see the things that make me sneeze all through spring, summer, and fall start to die. Yes. And it's not like I want it to suffer and die. It's a living thing. But I also don't want to suffer and die because it's there. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like that about you. Like there's like certain things where, a certain time passes or a certain person like decides to finally like move on and go away somewhere. And there's this part of you that's like, good. I was sick of dealing with you. Like I was sick of the unrest that was coming to my life, whether that was me causing it or you causing it or a situation causing it. I'm just grateful that it's coming to an end because, there's a certain amount of like suffering that it caused me, or it's just time for it to be over. Apple of my eye. Definitely been getting some kid vibes in these readings. Not all that's alluring may be what it seems. See beyond the illusion. I'm also feeling evil eye energy. Okay. One very specific message is coming in for some of you about your child. Some of you have a kid that's up to something. Now, if you're like, my kid's doing great, I can't even, don't go following them around and trying to find what bad thing they're doing. Like, if this is speaking to you like, oh, I knew it. I knew they were up to something. And it's not something that bad, okay? But they are up to something that they're not telling you about, all right? Or somebody that's the apple of your eye for the rest of you is also kind of not showing you the whole picture. And that is something that you're being kind of warned about for the next 3 months. I don't know when this is going to be happening. It could already be happening, but during the next 3 months is when you're going to start figuring it out. And really all it's going to do is feed into this idea of the time that you had with them is past, even if it's your child, and they aren't the same person they were back then. So if maybe they kept something from you, it's probably because, they're older and they kind of get to decide what you get to know about now, right? It might be things that you don't approve of. I'm not seeing any self-destructive stuff going on here. Like I said, I usually try to channel more real to life, lighthearted, everyday kind of challenging type readings. I try not to be, channeling things that are something that psychiatrists and doctors should be handling, right? But these things do happen. I feel like there's some kind of something that somebody isn't telling you about. I don't want you to think this is like somebody having an affair or your kid is off doing drugs or anything crazy life-changing like that. It just feels like there's a certain way that you thought something was and it isn't actually like that. I'm also hearing the word job. So if some of you are moving towards a new job, be realistic in the sense that not all of it's going to be as perfect as people are painting it to be for you to get you there. And it is definitely not going to be as perfect as you're trying to paint it for yourself, because nothing is. So your guides are saying to kind of keep your eye out. The evil eye feeling is there as well. There might be somebody in your circle, like a friend, who you're starting to suspect isn't really a friend. There might be something else going on. And so you might want to just kind of be careful what you say. I feel like you already know who they are for the most part, or they just haven't done anything shady enough for you to notice, right? So that is coming up for the next 3 months of just kind of, but I feel like you're going to see it because you're in this calm, like, I don't want to say you're self-centered, but like centered in yourself, finding a, thinking about the good parts of your life and where you're moving forward and what you're moving forward to and yada, yada, yada. But over the course of the next 3 months, there is going to be cutting out of things that don't serve you anymore. And I feel like this area is like your guide's kind of giving you a little bit of a like heads up. There's one thing in your life that isn't quite, that you think is fine, that might not quite be like you thought it was. Something might be going on. So like it might be something that you thought a person was okay with, like an agreement or a situation, and then it turns out like they don't want to keep continuing on that agreement. And I'm talking like really simple stuff like, I let you use my shed for this, and now I'm tired of your stuff being in there. That kind of stuff is what I'm feeling. Okay, let's get a card for each day of the month, or each day of the month. Let's get a card for each month of this season. That's what I was trying to say. Root vegetables for the first month. In those hidden places where most fear to go is where the most nourishment is waiting for you to behold. I feel like this is a lot to do with people being more... Oh, this is kind of a morbid time, right? And you're actually saying, no, this is when things actually start to make sense. This is where I learn the most. This is where I feel like I'm meant to be. So some of you might be kind of embarking into some kind of project or job in the next few months, or volunteer type stuff where you're actually helping others like in a dark time. That's very specific for some. But I also am feeling like you're connecting with your roots. You're connecting with the idea that this time, whatever season it is that you're watching this, and like I did do this in the fall, but it's a timeless reading. So whenever you are watching this time is a holy time for you, and you're taking stock of that and being appreciative and mindful of it in that first month. Like almost getting it off to a great start by rocking that energy. We also have falling leaves, number 14. Let go of the things that weigh heavily on you. You deserve to take up space. Aw. Interesting. I wasn't picking up on you feeling like you needed to take care, that you were taking up space before. So I definitely feel like this is going to be a challenge that comes towards you during the second month of the season. So the second month from when you're watching this, a month from now. You're going to have some kind of a challenge come up where you have to actually, I don't feel like you're going to have to stand up for yourself, but you're actually just going to have to accept the fact that you're allowed to take up space. So for example, this is something I'm still working on. I never owned a home my entire life as a kid. My family never really owned a home. I think we had one that we owned for a while, but then we sold it. And that one I loved. That house. I loved the house. I loved the barn. I loved everything about it. And my parents really loved it as well. And so my point is that besides that house, and that's it, that's the only house, I own a house now that I live in, I have a mortgage, that kind of thing. But it is like very much my dream house. And I have been here for almost 10 years. And it still doesn't feel like mine. So it's like something that I'm working on is this idea of like, this is my house. I can take up space here. If I want to paint the walls purple, I can, right? But I don't touch anything, right? And so now that I've been here for 10 years, like I haven't touched so much stuff that now I'm drowning in clutter. And now I'm like, oh, I'm not allowed to touch all this stuff and decide what to do. It's my stuff. You see what I'm saying? And so I feel like for some of you, it could be something simple like that, like a personal struggle. No one's in my house like making me feel unwelcome here, right? But I'm doing this to myself because I feel like for some reason, somewhere down the road, I got used to the idea of something feeling like it wasn't mine. To be continued. So whether it's like job or your house or whatever, Your guides are saying during that month that's going to be like a challenge for you, but I feel like you're going to realize it because you had this reading, this idea of aha, So I feel like by the 14th of that month, even for some of you, you're like, I am not taking up space here or allowing myself to feel okay taking up space here. I need to practice this. And it's going to be more of a practice of just allowing yourself to feel it. I also have to do this in my own life with like dealing with like PTSD and things like that. Like sitting in a room and being like, hey, nothing crazy's happening right now. I'm safe. And like allowing yourself to say, I'm safe, which like automatically makes me feel like a bomb's going to fall on my head or something's going to explode, But it's like, I'm safe. And then relaxing into that feeling and like allowing yourself to be like, it's okay to take up space. I'm taking up space right now. I'm going to go over here and take up more space. That kind of feeling, like relaxing into it. I feel like that's going to be a huge practice that you get into the second month of this season. We also have Corn Maze number 8. Although your path is unclear, it is there waiting for you, faith to lead you. Oh, it is there waiting for your faith to lead you. I read that wrong. Okay. So I feel like, you don't know where this whole thing is going, where these 3 seasons or this 1 season, 3 months will take you. But I just heard candy corn. Some of you might hate candy corn and you need to try it again. Others, it's just like, you just love candy corn and it's time to go have some, I'm one of those people that I'm like, ew, candy corn, gross, when there's all this other chocolate I like better around it. But then like, once all that other candy's gone, I'm like, candy corn. I want to eat some of that. Suddenly looking really, really good. I feel like during the 3rd month, you might still not know exactly where you're going. And that is okay. You might still not actually have an idea of like what all these lessons meant. And that's okay too. For the 3rd month, you're going to be okay with not knowing exactly what you don't know. And I sense that relaxation as well, of that idea of like relaxing into like, oh, everything's going to be okay energy. Even if it's not, just allowing yourself to tell yourself that like, you're going to be okay. Like, why is that not okay for you to do? Just even if it's not okay, why is that not okay for you to feel comforted? I feel like in your case, it's this idea of why is it not okay for you to not know everything? And I feel like you're going to be embracing that it's okay to not know if you can trust someone. Right now you feel like you can, so you're going to go ahead and trust them for now. That's okay. Like, that's what everybody else is doing. They're just not maybe as mindful of it. They might not have had the same experiences that you've had, etc. and so forth. And so that's something that I feel you relaxing into as well. That idea of, okay, I can't see what's going on, but I'm going to go ahead and trust that I'm on the right path. I'm going to trust my gods and my guides to take me where I need to be. And it's okay if I don't know everything. It's okay if I don't know where I'm going. That's also a good thing that goes along with the whole taking space. It's like just allowing yourself to exist, and that's okay, Okay, so now finally we're going to get into your tarot. Ooh, aren't we? Okay. So yeah. Oh, yes, let me get a couple more. Okay, so with the moon card, I feel like that is also this embracing of the unknown, embracing what you can't see. One of the things that I have to do with, I mentioned, like, I'm going to trust that person, even though I don't know if I can't, that kind of energy. I struggle with that because I want to be prepared. I want to see things coming that might have hurt me and be like, I'm so smart, see? That person was going to not be who I thought they were, and I knew fast enough to get out in time. It's not my fault. It's not on me to figure that all out, right? It's not on me to make sure that everybody around me behaves according to how I need them to behave to feel safe, and then know that in time for me to get out. You know what I mean? Like, it's not possible. And so to sit there and beat myself up about, I didn't see the signs fast enough, I didn't do this fast enough, that's just like a trauma response. It's not real, right? And I'm not saying that you're traumatized, but I'm just saying that it's okay to not see around every corner. It's okay that you didn't see every angle. You know, it's okay that you did your best and didn't see the one thing that you needed to see that would have made the most difference. Okay. I feel like for the next 3 months, you're going to be exploring that energy and actually allowing yourself to have those moments of like, hey, it's okay that I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I also see Four of Swords. I feel like there's a lot of rest coming in for you during this time. Especially like rest involving like communication. Do you see how she's like holding wands while she's still like focusing on her one sword that she has left? Sorry, I'm trying to do this without looking at the camera. It's not going very well. I'm gonna end up having to stand up. It's like she is taking care of what she can and just kind of preparing, not like preparing for the worst, but just knowing that what will be what is going to be what happens, and it doesn't matter how much you prepare. So sitting up all night and trying to stay one step ahead of everybody is kind of useless because you're not going to be able to do it forever anyway. You're going to have to rest. So this is a card about rest and letting go. It's also a card about not communicating with others as much, and I feel like in your case this is actually a good thing that you're just kind of maybe used to call people and check in on their ideas of how you should handle I do this. How should I handle this situation? How should I feel about it? What do you think is going on here? When really it's totally within myself to figure that out on my own. And I really don't even need to check in with anybody about it. I also feel like that's an energy that you're going to be coming into in the next 3 months with yourself, is this idea of I don't need to know every answer. I don't need to tell everybody what I'm doing or get feedback on why they think I should be doing what I'm doing. I'm just going to do. I feel like if you keep doing it this way throughout the 3 months, that you'll be very happy. Something will come in for you that you've been waiting for a long time. Maybe some understanding people, maybe some understanding within yourself. Maybe it will inspire you to make a huge change in your life or to go after something that you never thought you could go after. Okay. Very beautiful energy. The Queen of Pentacles. I feel like this is going to bring in a lot of abundance for you. I also want to say that she's showing up to remind you that you taking care of you is not being selfish, that you're a very giving person and it's okay to keep some of what you have. If somebody has recently told you that that's not the way it is, they are full of BS and they wanted you to give more than you've already given them. And that's not fair because you've already given them a lot. That's what I'm feeling. That was a very specific message for some, but like, you're not going to leave your giving energy. Okay. You're going to be moving into something great and it's going to help you accumulate while you still give. Sorry, I made the mistake of trying to do this before I ate and now I'm trying really hard not to pass out. Okay, like moving right along, man. We have the Ace of Swords. Yes, the truth. The truth will be revealed whether you're like trying to find it around every corner or find this truth in every corner or not. It's going to come to you. Your guides are not going to leave you in the dark. You're not going to be left beyond repair, okay? This is all about letting go, letting that feeling just like slide off of you. Of I need to be vigilant. I need to make sure. I mean, you're even being vigilant with your own self and your own feelings, and you actually don't need to be. That's part of the truth that you need to hear today. Okay, I actually think this might be our last card. Knight of Swords. Yes, don't allow yourself to be worried. I feel like the freedom that you're going to get from this new energy that you're rocking, letting go of those worries, letting go of not being able to see around every corner, that's actually going to be what frees you from this energy that you've been living with for so long. I feel like so many of you have been living with this energy for so long. And that this ability to set things down and be like, it's okay that I don't know everything. Like, not even saying that out loud to anyone else, just knowing it within yourself is the most important thing in this journey for you. And that's going to be what frees you from this energy. You're not going to be feeling as much of this, which I feel like so many of you have felt for so long. If you're rocking this, if you're rocking this, okay, if you're going after this, you're doing a great job. And that's something that I don't think you hear a lot. You're doing a great job. I know. Your guides know. All right. If this was helpful for you, please tell me how it was in the comment section. You can give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, please do so in the description box. There are ways to get a hold of me, message me, follow me, see little extra, pictures or things that I'm trying to do on social media that I haven't really started yet, but hey, I'm going to start trying to do that. So I now have an Instagram, a Facebook account, and all of those wonderful things, as well as platform that I work on. And you can also get a hold of me just on my email and book a reading with me there. So just reach out to me. I'm here to help you. We will see you in the next one, my friends. Take care of yourselves. Bye. Hello, group number 4. So if you picked the little divination coin, this is going to be your reading. All about the next 3 months ahead. Let's look at your overall energy. We have number 44 with wool. You are woven with an embrace, protected, loved, and the familiarity of finally being home. So I feel for some of you, maybe you spent a summer away. Some of you might have just had, that's my tummy growling, if you can hear that. Which is funny because I just ate. My tummy growls when I eat as opposed to when I'm hungry. It makes a lot more noise the other way around. Anyway, I feel like some of you may have been away at like some kind of training or some kind of a, camping trip or some kind of job where you were gone for a long time. Maybe you are a younger person and you are out having like a summer fun thing with people that you hang out with only in the summer, and then during the fall you might go back to school, like college kind of school or that kind of deal, or you might go back to an off-season job and then you have seasonal work that you do. I also feel that being a thing. So regardless of fishermen. That show Deadliest Catch just popped into my head, and so like some of you might fish for a season somewhere and then come home. And so in any event, I feel like many of you are also in that same boat as group 3 were, where instead of pining for summer, you're actually looking forward to fall. Instead of pining for the last 3 months, you're now looking forward to the next 3 instead. I also feel like some of you have taken up knitting. It's a very specific thing, but I did feel that. I feel like some of you are crafting and doing hobby type things. It doesn't have to be scrapbooking type crafting. It can be hobbies of any kind. I also see people working on Halloween costumes already. So you might have some messages in group 3 as well if you're looking forward to the next 3 months as opposed to looking back and feeling like you're going to miss them. What else? You're going to be hearing, I see the little teapot here. We're going to be hearing a lot of tea when you come back. A lot of tea. I feel like some of you are coming back to a pet you haven't seen in a while. And you're really excited to see your pet. What else? There's going to be a lot of tea that you're going to hear from like friends and family, or from whoever this group is that you're returning to. They're going to be telling you all this stuff that you missed out on. And so you're going to, like, a lot of that stuff feels like it's going to affect you in a way that maybe you weren't expecting to be. Like, I feel like a lot of you, when I said, oh, there's going to be tea you're going to hear, a lot of you are like, I don't care about tea. I'm not a gossip like you, Miriam. Right? That's fine. But the tea is coming, whether it's, so like, I almost feel like it might be tea that you are not totally ready to hear. Like, it's going to be something that kind of like not only changes how you view the people involved, but might change your view on humanity in some way. So that's a specific message for some. It's so funny that everybody calls it spilling the tea now. It must be some British or some other culture besides American culture that came up with spilling tea, because when I was a young lass, way back 3,000 years ago, we called it, well, like, you know, I'm an American, so obviously I wasn't here 3,000 years ago, but we always called it spilling the beans, like spilling a bag of beans, which probably came up, you know, when everybody was eating a lot of beans during the Great Depression. I'm probably giving all these like wrong history accounts of like the history of words here. But in any event, where I came from, we always said spill the beans. We also never said what are the beans on that person, which is actually, I kind of like that. What's the tea on your person? I see people say that quite a bit. What's the tea on the situation? We never said like what's the beans, man. We also like think of when people say they want to spill some tea or just get some tea about some things, it feels very much more respectful tea than somebody spilling the beans. Spilling the beans feels like a lot more like somebody who sinks a ship. Anyway, I digress. That's so weird. I am seeing an apple, but I'm also getting a tomato message for you as well. So look at both apples and tomatoes and pumpkins and find out what all those little food items are good for. What else? Some of you are going to see something important out of your window. And you aren't going to know what that is until you see it happening outside your window. And you're going to be like, that's what Miriam meant that day. All right, just so you know, that's also coming through. Anything else that I need to focus on here? Okay. Let's take a look at what we are moving away from as you are moving into the next 3 months. So this deck is going to be retired from rotation for its season. And so we're going to use it to find out what you are leaving behind as you move forward into the next 3 months. Coming of fall, number 7, let the spark of hope within you ignite and never cease, for it is never too late to manifest your dreams. Aww. I feel like for some of you, maybe something that you wanted to happen this summer didn't materialize for you. That is like a little message that might be coming through for like just some specific folks. And I feel like that's what you're leaving behind is this idea of like, yeah, it didn't happen the way I wanted it to the last 3 months, but I'm moving forward. I'm not letting, you know, how it happened is how it happened. And I'm moving forward. I'm not doing any of this like looking back and pining. I'm ready to move on with my life. I feel like with, see how she's all like tangled up in all these branches. It looks like she's actually like decked out like a Christmas tree, right? But I almost feel like maybe some of you had like a nasty fall this, if you're watching this in the fall, that maybe you had a fall this summer or the last 3 months that maybe felt embarrassing and took a toll all at the same time. Maybe it was preventable. Maybe it wasn't, you know, I feel like if it was preventable, it was just one of those things that like maybe if a perfect storm of events hadn't occurred exactly how they had occurred, that things wouldn't have turned out quite so upsetting or embarrassing or injury causing. Like I'm talking like physical injuries. I feel like that some of you, this is like an actual like physical fall. So that all being said, I feel like for some of you, you're like, yeah, that embarrassing thing happened, whether it was literal falling down or metaphorical. You're moving forward from that. That's something you're leaving in the past, like something that didn't quite work out the way you wanted it to. You're going to go ahead and let that go. I am filling this top one for your next card. We have poetry number 32. Man, y'all keep getting the same cards. Invoke your words for good and use them to uplift yourself and others. Interesting. So this is the message I'm getting from this card for y'all. I feel like for some of you, the last 3 months, you had to dedicate a lot of your time and opinion to things in front of others. And maybe that's how this little situation came about, was that you had to be putting yourself out there. So like I'm picturing like a camp counselor that had to put themselves out there. Like it's not like, you felt bad that day, so you got to just stay home in your tent and eat s'mores. You had to go out and like still help the kids learn how to use a compass or whatever it is that they make poor little children do out in the wilderness. I hated summer camp. I actually didn't go to summer camp. It was just a week. It was a week-long camp that I went to in the summer. And man, even just 1 week was 1 week too long. And it wasn't because I hated the idea of camp. It was because there was always some like regrettable thing that happened that wouldn't have happened if I would have just kept my white butt at home. and every year I was like, man, if I would have just not gone, all of that wouldn't have happened. Not that you should just stay and hide in your house, but I just remember feeling like every time I went to that camp that it wasn't what my sisters had cracked it up to be. That it wasn't for me the way it was for them, you know, and that I kept trying to like recreate what they were creating with it, and it just wasn't working for me. That happened with me anytime I tried to like do anything that my siblings were doing, like my older siblings or even my friends and influencers that way. Anytime I tried to do what they were doing, I just, or the world, society, whatever. Anytime I try to fit into that, I will fall and get tangled up, and everyone will see. And I always tell myself, oh my gosh, if I would have just stood on my own path and done my own thing, none of that would have happened. Not that that's to say what happened to you, but what I am seeing is that you probably had to like put yourself out in the spotlight quite a bit with this energy and share your poetry with others. Your poetry, okay, whether it's not real poetry or not. You could have been like influencing or doing like an online project where you were like kind of the voice piece for everyone. You could have also been someone that maybe you were a camp counselor, or you went somewhere in the summer to do some good deeds, and a lot of people were looking to you as their person who is in charge. And what I think is cool about what you're leaving behind is that you're ready to like leave that behind and just follow your own voice right now and not worry about saying what needs to be said for the masses. Like, you don't feel like you have to like announce every little thought in your head, because that time has passed. You don't have to go with what you were doing before. You don't have to bring that into the future just because you were doing that before. And I tend to do that. I take on a persona with each task that I have to do to try to like complete it as well as I can. So like there was like teacher me, and then there was me. And like most people wouldn't see that much difference between the two, right? But there is a little bit of a difference between like how I was when I was teaching and like how I am as a reader and how I am as just me, right? And they're all pretty similar. Like I because I can't twist myself up into a little box and become what people need me to be or become what I think they need me to be. And it ends in disaster if I try to fight my own natural self. It doesn't seem to get me very far if I try to do it, you know, too much of a persona. But I feel like with you, you're like looking forward to like shrugging off that persona, like taking off that uniform, taking off that title and just being you, and invoking your words for good use just to uplift yourself and not having to worry about uplifting others as much as you had to in the last 3 months. If you weren't on a trip somewhere, it feels something along the lines of maybe a lot of people were depending on you for certain things and you've let that go. Maybe you're an emotional prop for a lot of people in your life. And while they appreciate you being there and being a prop in their life, it's also like something that drains you over time. And so you've kind of had to scale it back. And not everyone in your life understands that. And you might even now understand that not everyone in your life will understand it once they find out that that's not what you're doing. But you're ready for that as well. Like I see a lot of letting go of worrying, letting go a lot of that role from the past of being the person that is dependent on, and you're kind of stepping out of that, which is it's time to do so. And so you're actually doing what you need to do. So if someone tries to place you back into that emotional support role or place you back into that leadership role or that place of authority, you can go ahead and keep on holding your ground and saying, not my job, if that's what you need to do. Interesting energy. Let's look and see what your overall energy for the next 3 months going forward will be. I'm going to get just overall cards for your overall energy. And then we're going to get 3 cards from this same deck specifically for those 3 months that are coming up. Okay. We have Coven number 9. I am you and you are me. When we come together, we are all we seek. Interesting. So I feel like for a lot of you, the next few months are going to be networking with some newer people, or if they're not newer people to you, you just get to network and work with them through projects more than you used to. Okay. And it's sort of like 3 peas in a pod. It can be more than 3 people. I feel like it could be anywhere between like 3 and 7. Some of you might actually be finding a group to be a part of, like a support group or a fun group, like a group that knits. We talked about the knitting earlier. Also like groups that read books together, like book clubs, volunteer groups who go out in a common cause and do some good. Covens in the literal form would be like-minded spiritual people that you work together in a unit to bring forward certain results in the world. Volunteer groups, charity groups, groups within a team at work is also there. It's like project work at work. You know what I mean? When you have to like team up with people. Project works at school, being in a team with certain people. Regardless of what your situation is, they're showing that this coven, this group that you're going to be with in the next few months for this, new challenge or situation that you have coming up, and that's going to be different for all of you, that it's going to be a well-placed match, that it's going to be good matches all around, that you all get along well together. And it's going to be one of those magic times that you kind of wished that wouldn't end, you know? If there are new people coming into your life, you're definitely not going to want it to end because it's going to feel like you've been waiting for them your whole life. Well, let's see what else we've got. Ew, kitchen witchery. That's one of my favorite kinds. I've never called it kitchen witchery, though. I call it magic. Number 23, abundance flows easily and effortlessly into your life. Be grateful. That said be in gratitude, but I just changed it because it came out my mouth different. Okay. Her kitchen reminds me of my kitchen a little bit. It's kind of interesting. But I mean, a lot of kitchens look like that. So there you have it. You've got good things coming. Like, so this group you're going to be working in is really good. Be grateful and bake some pies, or I'm going to bake some cookies here pretty soon. Once it cools down just a little bit more, I'm going to make some mad chocolate chip cookies, and they're going to be the bomb diggity. And maybe I'll make them before my husband comes back to town. Maybe I'll eat them all myself. He's like watching this video where he is, and like a single tear just like slides down his cheek. His little hollowed cheek that has had no cookies. Yes, supper. Just kidding. He can have some cookies. But I see just like her drying herbs and mushrooms and like canning little things and just really doing some like kitchen work, learning some new recipes. I feel like for some of you, the next 3 months is going to be a time where you kind of like get comfy in your home, doing some kind of new home activity, like maybe some new tradition that you've come up with you and your kids. Like instead of just doing Easter eggs in the spring, we're also going to make, I don't know, sugar cookies and make them into the shape of bats and spooky things for Halloween. And we're going to do that from now on, or in addition to, or, you know, we always do Halloween so crazy. This spring, we're going to decorate eggs, you know, all the fun stuff, right? I'm kind of fall-minded because this is where I'm filming this at, but it is a timeless reading. It's just the next, the next few months, no matter how you look at them, yawning. What does that yawn mean? Means you were bored with me talking. Let's move on, maybe. I feel sleepy time for you as well, like cozying up in your pad and just having moments to yourself. Apple of my eye, number 2. Not all that's alluring may be what it seems. See beyond the illusion. There could be something coming towards you in the next few months that looks very appealing, but it looks too good to be true. And your guides are saying that if you have a little moment like this, and I feel like, this could be something as simple as a piece of jewelry. I feel like maybe some of you might not like treat yourself very often. Now, if you're treating yourself all the time, that your credit cards are starting to hurt, like physically hurt when you look at the bills, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to like the person that's like, yeah, I still have the socks I had in high school because they're still fine. Those guys, okay? If it could be something simple like a piece of jewelry or something that you don't usually spend money on that you're like, I think I'm gonna splurge. And I think I'm gonna get that thing because it looks really like an attractive deal. Your guides are actually warning that if there's something that you're feeling a little bit like iffy about, like I hope it's a good deal, but maybe not, they're going to go ahead and spoil that for you and say it's not a good deal. Just go ahead and like let it go. So if there's something coming up, and I don't mean like, oh, I've been in love and we've been together for, a little while and everything just feels perfect and it's really moving along well, etc. and so forth. This card is not for you as well. This card is just about something small that looks somewhat attractive to you, and your guides are saying that whatever that thing is, it looks too good to be true, and therefore it is. Okay, so that's going to be different depending. It can be like very, very simple, like a piece of jewelry or a purchase option. It could be like a friend, in a little more serious situation. I don't feel it making or breaking anyone, whether you actually like avoided it or you actually get it and then you're disappointed by it. I don't see you being made or broken by any of those decisions. I do see though that your guides did take the time to tell you, hey, there's something coming up that you think is a really good deal, but it might seem too good to be true. So go ahead and take that as truth, that it is too good to be true. This isn't referring back to your abundance. This isn't referring back to the coven of people around you. This is just some little extra side stuff. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Campfire, number 6. Do not fear. Opening your mouth and allowing your tongue to speak. Nice. I feel like that for some of you with this energy of your poetry, that you're feeling good about just not having that same position before. This is a different situation again. I feel like this is connected to your coven situation as well, this networking and bonding with new people, or bonding with at least a different grouping of people than what you're normally grouped with, given your situations. It is a generating. If you're in this group and you feel like, because a lot of times when we get into a group where it feels so meant to be and everyone is so copacetic and all the ideas are flowing and it's so good, that sometimes we can tend to keep our mouth shut because everyone else feels more competent than us. Your guides are warning you away from that in the next 3 months of go ahead and speak up, because these people want to hear what you have to say. They appreciate what you have to say. And if you're noticing about them that they're amazing and they have wonderful things to say and great ideas to put forth, they actually feel the same way about you. You're smarter than you think. Lots of fox energy for you. And some luck energy with rabbit. That looks like a dragon. Then we also have Mountain Cabin, number 27, for your overall energy of the next 3 months. There are times when solitude can be healing and enlightening. I feel like this is just a little bit, you were looking so forward to not having to be the speaker. And so I feel like you kind of got contradicted there a little bit in some cases of you're finally stepping out of having to be the one everyone listens to or whatsoever. But this coven that you're going to run into, they do want and appreciate your voice. It's different. They're not depending on you like everyone else was in that past situation, okay? And you won't be held as accountable should you speak in a way that is not congruent to progress or something like that. So I feel think of the difference between how you're allowed to speak in a bar and how you're allowed to speak when you're a professional in a school. You can get a lot more out in a bar than you probably could at school without getting in trouble, right, for speaking a certain way. I feel with your coven, it's okay to feel comfortable to speak out that way. All right. And that's what your guides want you to know. But they're also saying that when you get involved in a situation where you've got lots of ideas coming together and everybody, it's also very important to take little bits of time for yourself. I don't mean like reject your coven and go find your little hermit hut and go stay there. I just mean like, for example, I used to go to support groups quite a bit when I lived in a bigger city and there was more support groups available for the type of support that I needed. And so you got your home group or whatever, the main group that you went to all the time that you gave your most support to. And then you also had like little side groups that you'd go see depending on what your schedule would allow. I always made sure that after a few weeks or so of being really involved in my home group, that I would like take a break from group altogether for a week or two, or go to a different group for about a week or two just to see if it helped me a little bit keep my head on straight. Okay. And a lot of times when I would do this, the people that were back in the other support groups like, oh, is she okay? What's going on? So I would probably do it a little bit differently now and let somebody know like, hey, I'm just not going to be around for a couple of weeks. Everything is fine. Don't even worry. I wouldn't even bother saying like, I just need to make sure to take time away from you guys so that I can keep my head on straight. They're not going to take that well. They're going to think that you're trying to get away from them, right? So it's better not to like lie, but just to not give out all of your information and just say, hey, I'm just going to take a little bit of time. I got this, that, and the other thing coming up, and I'll be back, you know, at this point. And then you have your alone time. You have your ability to collect your thoughts, and you don't have to worry so much about losing that solitude that you wanted and being able to just feel and say what you want without it carrying any weight. Okay, let's look at some tarot. No. You still need your 3 cards, one for each month of the next 3 months. Silly me. Everything's just flowing so well. Look, there they are. All right, let's look at month 1. Pomegranate number 29. Dare to taste the unknown. Let it seduce your spirit awake. Ooh. I feel like for the first month, yeah, there's a very seductive and good feeling coming up with this card of just really sinking into where you are for the next 3 months and enjoying it, allowing yourself to enjoy the good things that are happening. To be continued. But anyway, sorry about that. I feel like it's just this idea of just embracing things as they come and not trying to control things as much, which is wonderful. I feel like a lot of times there's that need to like control things, not like a controlling person would, but control things to try to keep them from going bad, right? And I feel you relaxing into a different energy in that first month of like trying new things, not worrying about how they turn out or if they turn out the way you want them to, just trying new things to try them. Okay, month 2, we have whiskey, number 41. Life should be sipped slowly with intention. Be patient as the vision reveals itself. Yes, so I feel like with this energy that you are rocking in the first month and things going really well with the coven situation, you just kind of slipping into your role that you're in now. I feel like with this whiskey card that by the second month, you're going to be feeling like, okay, I was doing this. I was going with the flow. And now where's my big aha? Where's my big moment of... And your guides are kind of saying the second month, the lesson that you're learning is that there doesn't need to be a big aha. Most life doesn't come with a big aha moment, okay? They're usually little ahas and then maybe one great big aha at the end of our lives. I don't know yet because I haven't gotten there yet. And if I was there before, I don't have memory of it now to help us, right? But I feel like you are being tested or challenged during the second month to just sit back, sip the whiskey, like they say, and appreciate it for what it is, as opposed to taking down each thing as fast as you can, grimacing, and then moving forward as fast as you can. Like actually, instead of looking at the whiskey like, and this is just me projecting my own like, whiskey, it's like, oh, it's gonna taste really bad, so I better just like shoot it really fast and then just enjoy the buzz it gives me, as opposed to, you know, the taste it's gonna leave in my mouth, as opposed to sitting back and just sipping that whiskey and trying to appreciate the flavors of, you know, burning alcohol and wood, whatever nasty. Whenever nasty flavors come out of whiskey. Just the barrel, you know, how old it is. If there's a, you know, mistake and maybe there's extra stuff in the barrel that people didn't want anyone to ever find. I read a little true crime story about that. I digress. I don't think that's coming in month 2, finding something weird in a barrel. So that's good. I'm like, whoa, Miriam just went dark. Went dark so fast. Breathwork number 4, allow your breath to expand your spirit and fill your heart. Okay, so I feel like for some of you, with the coming of the 3rd month of your little reading here, you're going to actually start doing breath work. You're actually going to start studying it and doing it. Now, this could be like traditional breath work that people do, where you learn how to do this stuff that actually uses that title, or it could just be different breath work that is like culturally used in other, I don't know, like I'm thinking of Qigong myself, but there's other breathing exercises that go with other cultures. Does that make sense? And they all have like specific purposes. I feel like you're going to, for those of you that aren't actually embarking out on doing breath work in general, during the 3rd month, most of you are going to do something that 3rd month that feels totally different from anything you've ever done. So maybe, I don't know, think of something different. Maybe you'll go and get a crazy haircut that you've never ever even imagined getting. And everybody around you goes, oh my gosh, it's so, whatever it is now. It's so short, or, you know, it's so braided, or it's so blue, or whatever. And you just let them have their feeling and you just go about your business. Like, I feel like it's not something that you're going to regret doing. I feel like you're just going to kind of get outside of your comfort zone a little bit and try something new that maybe you've always wanted to try, but you just never really did it. This could be learning something new. This could be accepting or relaxing into an idea, like relaxing into allowing yourself to just trust people that are in your life and not worry about collecting evidence on them. And by collecting evidence, I mean that, you know, every time someone says or does something a little bit off or a little bit different than what your own values are, like some people will tend to, I'm like, some people, pointing at myself, some people named Miriam might collect data on that person in my little sick, twisted brain and be like, yeah, you say well, to quote Shakespeare, but there's something murky there, right? Still. Or I'm worried that there's something murky there that I haven't been sharp enough to figure out. So I'm going to go ahead and take that one little piece of evidence and put it in my pocket and save it. And that way, if we ever get into an argument about something in the moment, oh, I can just empty all my pockets and be like, but look at everything you did. Not the best way to go about your life. I like to use myself for examples of what not to do. But I see this being like a thing where instead of collecting evidence on people, you actually stop doing that and you just let them be people. And if something comes up, well, you'll deal with it then. If something comes up to break your trust, you can deal with it then. It doesn't mean you're stupid or too trusting because you actually just relaxed and nothing bad was happening. So you just allowed yourself to enjoy nothing bad happening. That's okay. It's interesting. There was a similar message like that in one of the other piles. So if you felt drawn to more than one pile, there was a lot of overlap. Woo! I smell something that I feel is familiar for one of you, not me. It's like a barn I don't know about, like a barn I never went into. I feel a barn. Oh, it's gone. I'm sorry. I almost had something about a barn for somebody. So somebody out there, if you had a barn that had a very distinct smell to it that you liked, let me know in the comments. But I feel like you are, I see little stars like touching your head. There's this technique in Qigong called 1 through 10 where at one point you actually like grow really tall in your mind and let the North Star touch your head, and then all this heavenly light goes into your belly and works its way all the way through you and then all the way through all your 3 bodies and makes you super shiny and bright and new and clean. Anyway, I picture the star to look kind of like that, only white, like the stars on her shirt, and they're like pokey, like a poker when it pokes my head, not in a painful way. That's what lets in all the light. Anyway, I feel like for some of you, you are rising to the occasion in this third month of just really stretching into what you want to find out about yourself, what you really want to decide to be. I feel like for some of you, this really is about like magic, about finding a coven, finding people who believe like you. It's just hard for me to wrap my head around that idea or that like picture, because it's just the area where I live in. You just don't find covens springing up all around you. I feel like it'd be one of those things where it could be something cool and special that only happens every once in a while. And I think a lot of times covens that are created, we don't even know what to call them. It's just a weird group of people that somehow find each other. Yes. All right, let's look at your tarot for the next few months ahead, you guys. It didn't start out like a song, but man, it ended like one, didn't it? Okay. Oh my. Making a big old mess. Trying to not make a mess. Okay. I just peeked. I snuck a peek at your last card there. My goodness, you're going to be so devastated. Just kidding. Okay, let's look and see. Wow, 10 of Pentacles. You're really moving towards like this. I know that this is just probably the angle of like the way that the picture is set up, but like, does the dog just look like huge? Maybe some of you have a big giant dog. Like that maybe isn't that breed, but is like actually that size compared to you. Look at the size of that thing. It's huge. It could eat like that guy's head. I mean, that's a big dog. Does it look big to you guys? I realize it's the angle of the card, but maybe some of you are going to get a big giant dog this next 3 months. I don't know. Oh my word. Okay, get it together, Miriam. Stop laughing. Hang on. Okay, that only took me like 2 seconds to get myself to stop laughing. But the 10 of Pentacles is all about like building a beautiful future for yourself. I feel like you are on your way to this, whatever this looks like to you. And I think that for most of you, it's not the idea of money, which for some of you, you're like, hell yes, it's about money. That's me. I'm like, it's all about the money. Give me money. That's what I always say, but it's not actually true. But I will still take the money. You know what I'm saying? Because I've just never had it and I'd like to know what that feels like. But I feel like you're growing towards this thing, this like awesome you that's going to be wise and like own giant dogs and like show babies how to make fire with your fingers. What is he doing? What's he doing to that child? What's happening here? He's like, hey, look, you want to see something cool? They're like, it's cool. Grandpa's playing with the baby. And he's just like zapping flames into this kid's face. I gotta put this card down. It's just making me laugh too much. Anyway, let's go. Let's move on. I can't be serious. 7 of Cups. So many opportunities opening up in these 3 months because of the new outlook that you've got. Queen of Swords. Not everyone is going to understand where you're at during this time, but the Queen of Swords energy is all about standing your ground. And like, Queen of Swords doesn't wait for her husband to tell her what to do with the broken down car. Queen of Swords just goes and finds out how to fix the car. Does that make sense? And I'm not saying that you're all like housewives that have husbands that tell you what to do with cars. I actually am one of those spouses that has no idea what to do with the cars. So I always admire the spouses out there that are the ones that actually just do with the cars. I'm like, man, how did you get to be on top of the world? Me all smirk. Okay. We have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is about stepping into your actions, stepping into your truth, stepping into the truth in your mind and in your words, which also goes along with the Queen of Swords. all of this is going to open things up for you to just get you closer to this beautiful, this beautiful future where you terrify babies and create giant dogs. I don't know. Anyway. Five of Wands. Like we were saying, this isn't going to be okay for everyone. I see you rising above. Five of Wands is all about like chaos or like conflict between people. But to me, it's always very petty conflict that could have been, even if it rises to the pitch of a war. It was like a war that didn't need to happen, right? I also find Five of Wands to be a card that carries the message of like staying out of it, staying out of whatever it is that these people are involving themselves in. I feel like you're going to be doing that well with this energy and this energy of standing your own ground, creating your... Please tell me in the comment section if this is just a weird, like, crazy, wild fantasy that you have about making it big. Like, yeah, I'm going to be this, like, rich old man that, like, has a giant Labrador Retriever or Golden Retriever, whatever that is, and a giant, like, ability to terrify babies by like creating flames out of my hands. I'm sure the baby was like laughing, but I can change that to make the baby seem like it's like screaming. like why are you doing this so close to my face? Anyway, I'm sorry if the card picture looks funny. I'm going to do a review on this deck, so I'm sure we'll bring that card out and talk about it in a little more depth. But in any event, this shows me that you stay out of it, that you're staying above the situation. I almost feel like, see how this person's kind of reining in this dragon here? And isn't quite, like, they're all grabbing each other's wands and going at it. Like, I feel like this is sort of like you sort of flying away from them, away from that situation. Excellent. Well, let's keep going. The Moon. I see you not worrying about what you can't see, but I also see you not revealing everything that you're doing to everyone, not explaining yourself to everyone, kind of holding your own ground, which is also very nice. And this is the one that I spoiled for myself for y'all for the next 3 months. You got the Sun card, which means all the good things are coming. Even your dark days will be something that leads you to the light. And with that, let's leave that on a high note and send you forth to the next 3 months with love, light, and wonderful happiness coming towards you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for watching. Thank you for enduring me laughing about the weird card with the funny imagery that I just like. I couldn't like stifle my 7th grade girl self anymore. Like if the textbook would have had this picture in it, like they would have all had little speech bubbles written above their heads, and I would have created myself my own little comedy show before the teacher realized what I was doing. But anyway, if you found this helpful, please tell me how in the comments section. Give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are many ways to get a hold of me in the description box. So go ahead and check those out. Follow me wherever you need to follow me to find me. All right, take care, y'all. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.